So my buddy sent me a couple pictures, so I'm gonna make a 3D model of his head, which is awesome. Keep them coming, man. I'll make faces. Let's just do that. Just align the lips a little more. Oops. Top lip there. If anyone's wondering, I used GIMP to superimpose these images. So what I did is I have these two lines here, so you can on Photoshop or Illustrator, I think you can pull these lines out like so. And what I did was I brought them up to this bottom image. So this bottom image is the profile, so it's the side. So I start at the bottom of the chin and I start at the top of the head. So bottom of the chin and top of the head. And then we have this image here. And what I do is the image on top, I actually lower the opacity a little bit so it's transparent. You can see the picture under. And I just align the chin and the top of the head. And that's how you get the sizes. So that's why it looks kind of weird, where it shows kind of like the bottom of his shirt here. It's because the picture wasn't perfectly aligned, but you can align it on Photoshop through opacity and layers. But yeah, so this one you turn into a JPEG, and this one you turn into a JPEG. So you make them two separate files, and you upload them separately onto this. So I can add another image, but I'm going to just start with the side profile. I don't know. I started, I think, with the side profile last time. It's a little easier. And what you do is there's these anchor points here, and you can kind of drag and drop them. So like you can see like the ridge of his nose right here is kind of jutting out. So if you want that to be a little more accurate, you can add a point and drag it up a little bit. And it's interesting because the wire mesh is not perfect, so it's kind of hard to get this a bit accurate. What I do is you just keep adding points, because like as soon as you move one thing, something else moves. So you can tell that like this part of his lip here isn't perfectly aligned, so I'm going to drag that back, and then I'm going to pull this forward a little bit. And then his nostrils aren't fully covered, so we can pull this down a tad bit as well. And then his eyes, you can pull from the corner. I usually pull from the corner and align with the corner. And it's pretty accurate, actually. You can pull up the brow a little bit. His eye is like, I think up to here, and it ends down here. So usually anywhere that you can that starts a sort of spot, you could do that with. So like the bottom of his ear is a good like reference point to start one of these, and then maybe the side of his ear, and then you can't really see the top of his ear, but you can make a sort of a judgment. Can drag his facial structure a little down. This can move towards his forehead a tad bit, and then you can move that out and push that in. It's a little bit of the wireframing process is a little tough, and we're cutting off a bit of his hair, but it's for the sake of facial structure. It's like if his hair was part of his face, then I don't know, you know? Okay, let's pull up his chin a little bit. Pull it down over here. And then his neck also begins over here. So we can pull that over his neck now. Okay, so it's covering a little bit of his shirt. Let me just check all the sort of points, make sure like his ear is aligned in the right places. Put that there. Okay, that's pretty well done, actually. It's going to cut off some of the back of his hair, unfortunately. But, I mean, you're going to still get, like, this line up here. I'm going to pull this down a tiny little bit. There you go. I think there's going to be hair on his, like, ear. That's just what I'm thinking. Just add another point here and pull that out. I don't know, it's kind of turning into like what I think he looks like, you know, at this point. It's kind of interesting though. Okay, so we click add images, and that's in the bar for that. And I click on desktop because I put it on my desktop. It's easier to find for me. Image number 2, open that. So we get kind of like the structure of like what his face should look like there, but just click on 2. And then you get the wireframe over his face. Geez. Estimation. I didn't turn on facial expressions this time. I want to see what it looks like. My character looked really creepy last time, so I think I might stay away from that. Okay. This part's always difficult for me, so I'm going to start at maybe the top of his head this time and pull his chin down to his chin level. And then I'll pull his temples out. See, it starts moving. That always confuses me. And then I'll pull his other temple out. And then the frame is getting a little out of hand there, but it's probably okay. I don't know. I probably won't have to... Let's see. Whoa. Oops. Yeah. Just drag that down. Start adding anchors to top of his head. It's okay. It's just the beginning. So his cheekbones are kind of like a little more on the inner side there. We can pull this down a little bit, where his cheek is a little more, and then pull that back down over his the upper half of his chin on the side of his face, and the nose we can actually drag upward. Looks like you can kind of see his nostrils, kind of not. Let's drag those down a little bit. Okay. Again, I'm going to take the corner of the eye and align that with there. And I'm going to take the corner of this eye and align that and drag these down. Drag these inward a little bit. Nice. Drag those inward, and then the brow line, it looks like I can align that here and here and here and kind of there. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to drag out his sort of cranial area a tad bit more. Unfortunately, we're going to kind of clip off a bit of his hair, but that's okay, I think. I hope it's okay. I think, you know, the more I do that, I think, let's go back. The more I sort of mess with his facial structure, and drag that back. You'll have to excuse me, I'm drinking my coffee right now, so, okay. Let's just do a little work on his cheek there, on the left-hand side. Lips always confuse me. Like, damn. Just put anchor points here on the nose. Let's work on the nose a little bit. Let's make that a little smaller. Let's bring that in a little bit. Let's bring his face down. Okay. We'll do that. And it looks like they got the, what's this called? That teardrop sort of area. I think there's gotta be a name for that. Okay, so his lips, kind of big. We can start out at the corners. Like that. Righteous. And then it looks like the bottom of his lips are there. You can pull the top of his lip down. It's not that big. What did I do? Okay. Let's pull this in a little more. I think it's gonna... let's just see what happens when the model is produced. And let's pull his chin to cover a little more there. And the bottom of his cheek. And then we can bring his chin back here. And then this part can be pulled out a tad bit. I'm wondering if his nose is done right. I feel like, okay, this part of his nose might be able to be pulled in a little more like that. And then this part could be pulled in. It seems like it's kind of like more round in the center area, and it's kind of thin, and it rounds out. So we can bring this out a little more. Like that. Okay. And then looks like his eyeball is like a little, it's not aligned, so we can pull that back up a tad bit. You just want to check your work, you know. Like, I know we just did the eye, but we messed up. Okay. Let's pull that out a little bit. Looks a little more like him. There we go. Wireframe that part. His nose is a little off. And the nose is going to take a while, I think. I mean, look at that. There we go. You pull that out. There we go. It looks a little better. A tad bit more realistic. I mean, the eyes, this eye is like kind of big. There we go. And then you can drag that part. And we can drag this part a little bit too. Okay, let me zoom out and just look at everything. I feel like his face is gonna get a little, there we go. Let's just look. Looks pretty good, in my opinion. I mean, there's a little bit of the cheek getting like kind of clipped off, but that's fine. Okay, that's good enough. I think you can do a third camera, and we might as well do that. And the way I do that is we copy and we paste an image. This is something I learned in school. You always get a little copy here, and we'll just name it number 3. And then what do we do with that? You can flip it. I'm just gonna do it really quick with photos. I mean, we could do it on Photoshop, but it's like, why? Why would you want to open a whole other application? All right. I think it's on rotate or something like that. Ah, flip. Fair enough. That's easy. There we go. Where are we at here? Ah, okay. So you can add another image. See, this is where it gets kind of weird, though. There we go. This is where it gets kind of weird. You get a third angle that you can add, but but because it's just a mirror image, oh boy, I always forget how hard this is. If this wire model is starting to look like him, huh? Anyways, let's just pull that to the side. Oh, it's so hard to control. Okay. You could get another angle on the face. There we go. It's starting to kind of come out. This is so difficult, though. It's like I really don't understand why. It's so tough for me. Oh, here we go. I mean, we could also start over, but I don't want to. Okay. Too stubborn to start over. Although I probably should. I'll be honest. I'm trying to think how I started the last one. This is so difficult, man. Ah. Doesn't really react like a normal model, but that's why we're doing this. Stuff that's normal ain't cool. Okay, wait. Let's just... We can always start over. That's what's cool about digital stuff. I mean, yeah, I'm backtracking, but come on. Can you do that with an oil painting? Yes. Probably. So if my buddy was bald, this is what he would look like. So let me just get this straight. Whoa. Man, like rigging the side of his face is like so hard, man. I'll tell you. This is probably the hardest part, I think. There's definitely a learning curve there. Okay. Drag this out and pull that in a little more. I mean, what would be really neat would be if this was like an RPG character, you know, if you could like superimpose your face. I know some people aren't like too big on that, but that'd be really cool. I know you can do that for, I think it was like a basketball game or something, like NBA 2K or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you could do that. You could upload your face onto a character in career mode. That's just plain old neat. Okay. I think you get, like, the more you start adding, like, the more angles you get. Because, like, if you could spin the head around, you can get, like, more than just the profiles. You can get the back, the top of the head. You'll see the finished product. Where some of that stuff is kind of missing. Some of that information. But see, what I do is I just flip the picture. It's like, you can do it on... This is all free right now. You can just do this. You don't have to work very hard. You don't have to, like, learn anything. It's fairly simple. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm just cleaning up the edges. Realistically, I don't know. I don't think his chin juts out that much. It kind of does, but not that much. Okay. Forehead. Okay. Now I get this, like, error message here. I don't know why. See, I'm telling you, I'm a beginner. I don't know why. Let's see. You got the eyes, ears, nose, the whole shebang. All right, let's create the texture. I've never really looked at any of this. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Hit OK. Just see the end result. What in the... What in the frick? Wow. Whoa. Okay. I forgot to... That's a haircut. It's so interesting. All right. There you have it.